So Shawn, he's gonna tell them a little bit about himself, but overall, you hear another story of someone else that lives in a different state and bought in a different state. So Shawn, you just tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Um, Grew up in Silicon Valley. Was playing with computers and video games. God, when I got the Atari 2600, 10th grade, or no, 10 years old, 5th grade, very exciting. Um, I grew up in a nice house, right? We lost it. My dad did a bad business deal, and it took a number of years to get back into a house, right? My dad had passed. My mom and I and my mom's sister, we all went in because I wasn't making enough money. They had government checks, and I bought a house without being able to. I couldn't afford it. I worked my way through it, got a house in Sunnyvale, right across the freeway from Apple Research and Development. It's a duplex, actually. Don't own that anymore, which I had. Not sold it. But I watched. I worked in Silicon Valley. I watched the dot-com rise and fall. I watched the housing market go up and come down. And I was in the market. I lost a little bit, not maybe as much as some of these other experts, but I was done. I got out, right? I moved up here to Washington. I took 3 months, 3 years. I took 3 years off from working, and then started a new career up here as an electrician. That taught me just how valuable time is. And it was hard to get back into working again. So I've had a good life. I've had some fun, and I want more. I want more time. I want my time back, which is probably the most important thing for me at the moment. Yeah, so that's why I'm here.
That's awesome, man. And I agree with you. That was for me the most important is getting my time back sooner than later. So, man, I know we had a few conversations, but it's great to kind of hear your story, man. So tell me about White Lifestyles. How did you join and how did that work, man?
I got called out. I'm an electrician. I specialize in solar, photovoltaic power systems and stuff, and now car charging. I got called out to look at a system at a chicken farm. The owner's name, Jerry Stokesbury, he was excited, and we got to talking, and he was excited about this thing he was doing, Lifestyles Unlimited. And I thought, is that a swingers club at first or something? And he says, no, it's this is really solid. And he told me about it, and it sounded really interesting. And I left and forgot about it. 2-3 months later, I ended up going back, and this was early 2019. I went back, and he's telling me about it, and he's also telling someone else there about it. And then things clicked, right? I had some experience. I had the one duplex that I bought in California, and I understood how valuable real estate could be, but I hadn't learned anything about it. I was hoping that someday I could put enough money into a house here that I could actually make something on it. So after listening to him a second time, I got online, I listened to the radio, I found a deal. There was a discount for the yearly membership. Thought, well, I paid $250. I thought, that's easy. I've blown that on stupid things. And then I took the 2-day online and learned just how important Jerry was to me. I thought I had I'm looking at the notes because I'm excited, so I'm just rambling on. Yeah, I pretty much hit all those. Yeah, once I watched the 2-day online, I realized I had to check this out and stayed online, got tickets, signed up for Houston, July 2019, 2-day out there, which was valuable for me because I got to meet people. I got to talk to investors. I got to talk to the people that work there. I got to see the building. I got to feel out what it was like. I learned a lot and immediately joined at higher levels so that I could get access to the realtors and more information. And then I had to take a couple of months because I had a very big vacation coming up. And in September last year, started.
That's awesome, man. So just to kind of give you time frame, you're only about a year and a few months into your lifestyles journey, and we're gonna just take look at pictures on one property, but you've bought and closed and rented out three of them, and you're currently working on your fourth one. So let's
Correct.
just talk. We're gonna go through this ward property, and then we're gonna also look at one slide that shows kind of your three single family as a portfolio. But talk us through this ward property a bit, man.
Uh, Ward, that was my third house. Um, Called up Jennifer and said, I need a house, I need a house, I need a house. And finally ended up getting this. It's in Baytown. It's not a big fancy house. It's, you know, maybe a step above something really small. Trying to remember now. It was 3 bedroom. No, it was 2 bedroom with a 1 car garage. We took the 1 car garage and we made it a master suite with a bath. Well, technically with a shower and toilet, not a bath. Um, so increased in value. It was full on redo. Did not look good at the beginning. It cost about $50,000 to do pretty much everything. If I'm correct, that one didn't need a new roof. It needed roof repair, but everything else needed. New floors, new lights, new sheetrock, mostly new sheetrock, new heating, new siding. I replaced a number of panes in the windows. It has brickwork. Um, no, that's Rittenhouse. That's my fourth house. It gets kind of confusing. Um, it was a
No,
full redo. You know, the place was trashed.
no, it looks beautiful, man. I'm looking at the pictures, and you and I had kind of spoken about this property before. Tell me about a little bit about your process through this, as you know, you're in California, right?
Right.
And this property is where?
I'm in Washington. I grew up in
Yeah.
California.
Sorry, Washington. I'm
This
sorry.
property, all my stuff is in Houston, except for this one, which is in Baytown, just east of Houston, right? So it's a suburb.
So
Um,
talk to me about that process, not just emotionally, but then through kind of what was like your point that like, oh man, I'm doing this, and how did you kind of overcome that? I think that's a lot of people's fear when you kind of when you consider investing outside of your state. Can you just quickly kind of walk me through that, and then we'll kind of get to some numbers?
yes, this was my third house. So by this point, I find something, I look at the numbers, I go, let's go, right? And start the process. Hire the people, you know, do the paperwork, get the money, buy the house. It's a done deal. My first property, I knew from what I had learned in the training and from what I had researched online and from the talking to all these people that have done this, that I knew it works, right? And when I was in the stock market, you buy stocks. I didn't get to go tour the company. I didn't take home anything. I didn't walk around in the company. I just bought the stock, right? So my first house actually had a renter in it and it didn't need that much work. So it was quick and easy. And that, you know, having a baby deal, an easy first start, that made it easier for me. In this house, this was the first one where it has to be rebuilt. Yeah, it was 2 months to do all the work. The first pictures I was getting, hopefully, they were real small on my cell phone, and I don't know if we showed just how bad it is in this, but yeah, it looked pretty bad. Yeah, you can see on the outside, right? Um, so I already, you know, it works, right? I trusted my team. I look at the numbers. I can look at Quest. I can't tell which way I'm pointing.
So,
But
so real quick, Shawn,
yes,
basically what you did, you're up there in Washington State, right?
yes,
And this is down there in Houston, but you're able to do everything through the phone, not modern technology, correct? Is that how you did it with pictures back and forth? So I want people, you didn't physically come down there like every day to watch what these guys were doing. I want the people out
never
there saying,
even seen the house.
never even see how powerful it is. The most powerful thing, I want you to remember this for when I teach this weekend. What Shawn did that was so powerful was he got over fear. No emotions at all. He looked at the numbers. The numbers told the story. Numbers are finite. Here's my estimates. Work with my mentors, work with my team, and did it. That's very important. So let's make sure they get that across.
You're on point, David. It really is. Once I kind of like using the verbiage emotional surgery. Once you remove the emotions, it's really just numbers, team, mentor, and there's nothing else you really need to invest kind of on a national base. So if we can, let's go to the next page. Let's look at, the next slide. Let's look at some numbers.
Okay.
Cool. So walk me through this a bit, Shawn. Kind of your numbers there, and then we're gonna talk about your the three kind of put together as a portfolio.
Sure. Yeah, purchase price 55,500. The appraised value, they look at it, they look at the house, they look at the neighborhood, they look at everything else, they look at what I'm going to do to it. And there was one small mistake. I said there was going to be a tub in the new master bedroom. It appraised at 132, right? So you can get the tub in there, it's 128. Still, that leaves me with 72,500 in equity, right? Rehab was 50,000. Closing costs, as you can see. So that brought my net equity down to 12,930. Total, I had to put in cash just under 25,000. Return on capital gain, 52%.
That's still darn good.
I'm happy. What's been discussed so far is people looking to increase their capital, right? I want to do that. That'd be nice. What I want first is cash flow. And I have I have so much money to work with, and I want to try to get 9 houses with that money. So I'm trying to keep my out of pocket below 25,000, and I'm trying to keep my cash flow 400 or more.
That's good.
And hopefully, maybe I can raise some rents. I already did that once on my first house. I can get into maybe close to 4,000 take home, cash free. That almost replaces my take home now.
Yeah.
I can stop working. I can start doing this full time.
There you go.
On a national level, anyone that lives outside of Texas or some of these really hot markets, you look at a purchase price of 55,500, and you think this is a one big fat lie. Like I can't even buy, a quarter of a land here in Miami for 55,000. So when these numbers, you see them, these are real numbers, real homes that we're doing, and this is the power of being able to go through lifestyles, be able to invest in it, in your education, in a mentorship, and then be able to invest wherever you want, because there's certain states and certain markets that definitely work, as you can see. Shawn, you did great, man. I'll take 52% return on capital gains any day. 500 cash flow, I'm in, right? So I think you did fantastic, man. I don't want to go to the next slide real quick, and we'll just quickly talk about your 3 properties that you have together at the moment.
Sure.
Let's quickly go through this because I thought it was important to share, seeing as you bought. Let's just go back. You joined Lifestyles in July 2019. You're only about a year and a little bit in, and you're working on your 4th home at the moment. But you've already bought, rehab, and rented out 3. And you're looking at all this, and you're looking at your out of pockets versus your net equity over your annual cash flow, 14,000, almost 15,000. And your average cash on cash, I can't see the bottom, but I think it's 21%. Yo, that's some rock star numbers overall. So it's not one of the things I wanted to show. It wasn't, Shawn's just a one hot shot and all the other ones aren't doing great. This is consistency over his portfolio, being able to do it over and over. Which is great.
And it just keeps getting better.
We didn't show the one that was 11 out of pocket. We showed the one that was 24 right in the middle. So I like that. Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
And you can see the net equities on the homes, and they're all roughly around, what's it called? Your cash flows roughly around what you were looking for, right? So some a little bit more, some a little bit less, but the overall
the later houses are making up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's
great
great.
returns, man. They're great returns.
What do
How
you?
many houses you want to get up to, Shawn? How many are you going to get up to?
My original goal was 9. I want to transition into multifamily, passive at first, maybe a small little apartment when I stop working for a while,
Okay.
after I'm not working for a while. But there's ways you can get more than 9. You guys, we can talk about that. And I might go more,
Okay.
or depending on how transitioning into multifamily works for me.
You want to give a shout out, Shawn?
Again?
You want to give out shout outs to any people that helped you along the way?
Definitely. Home inspector, inspections by Pat, he's great. I've never, I think I might have talked to him once, but again,
Just
it's,
read the report, right?
we text, he does it. It's great. Blue Star Construction, same as the last people. They're phenomenal. I'll tell you this, they have made mistakes. They always work with me and take care of them, right?
Good.
And it usually doesn't affect the timeline. Red Door Funding, AMP Lending, Toby LeBouf is phenomenal. I don't know how he does it. Every time I call, he talks to me. I'm just a new investor, and these guys are pretty big, and he's almost always, I think once, he's got time for me. It's phenomenal. Joe Flores, I don't utilize him enough. I should utilize him more. I like to think I know what I'm doing. And then occasionally I've talked to him afterwards and went, oh, but if I've got a question, he's always right back to me on email. And, we've had some good conversations. None of this would be possible without Jennifer McCormick.
She's a lifestyles realtor, so the folks know.
Yes. Yeah. And she does more than the average realtor, right? At least the ones I've experienced, the house that I bought and this house. So yeah, phenomenal.
Awesome.
I forgot Maxim Insurance. Another vendor that I've used pretty much on every house.
Okay. Cool. So your goal is to get to those 9 houses right now, correct? And anyone maybe do a small.
Yep.
You ready to take some questions, Shawn?
Sure.
Let's take a couple real quick.
How'd you find your rehab contractors?
Question was, how did you find the rehab contractor, Shawn?
Vendors list. It's on a portal. You get to log into it when you're a member.
Yeah. Anybody who signs up as a member, we have all these vendors right on there, and it's sort of like an Angie's List where the members, like Shawn, will give feedbacks, good or bad, and you can do research on them from other members.
Yep.
Properties have asbestos siding, and if so, how did you deal with it?
To the best of our knowledge, me and my team, whatnot, we have not had any asbestos.
Okay.
Do you have a management company take care of your property since you're?
Nope. It's great. You do the webinar, you learn, you fix everything. There's very little you need to do. I have had to fix 1 or 2 things. I had plumbing come up on my first house. Found a realtor, found a contractor to do plumbing and fixed it. Went to the list, made phone calls.
Off to a phone call, yeah. So he learned how to screen his residents through the seminar. That's what we teach you step by step how to do it. He's following the map, keeping the extra money in his pocket, which is good.
How'd you do the leasing though? How did you get your tenant in, moved in and all that?
Leasing agent.
Okay, you hired a leasing agent to actually find your renter, okay?
Yeah.
But he does the actual management. They found him a renter. Then once they were in there, now he's taking over afterwards. That's
right. They take a fee from the first month's rent. They do all this thing. They pass the information to me. I look at the information, but I also think of the people because they're the ones talking to them. And if they have a good feeling, they've done this more than I have. The numbers look good. They're not nasty people. Done deal.
Okay.
How long did you wait to refi?
How long did you wait to refi from hard money to conventional? Do you remember?
I didn't wait. I did it as fast as I could. Yeah. The way it works is you got to finish you finish all the work, then they go out and they look at it and they say, hey, you did all the work, and you refi.
So really, while you're in the middle of rehab, you're still working with your conventional lender from day one so that they can coincide that way.
That's correct.
That's it? Okay. Shawn, what advice would you give to somebody new, especially not just anybody new, somebody who's out of state like you going across state lines? Because that's scary as heck. I can't say hell because that's a bad word. Scary as heck. So, Shawn, what advice would you give somebody else new watching for the first time tonight?
Okay. The biggest mistake I've made is thinking I know it all, right? So on the first house we were looking at, we did one thing. We converted the garage into a bedroom, increased the value of the house.
Mhm.
The driveway's kind of short. You can only get one car into it. There's no parking on the street right there. And in Baytown, you can't park on the front lawn. Not that you could, but you know. So we had to work. I'm working to get driveway onto the side of the house so that they can park on the side of the house, because you can park on the side of the house or you can park on the driveway. But that's something that if I was talking to more people, talking to Joe more often, maybe talking to Isaac now, I would have maybe caught that before I went and did it.
But even with that mistake, you forgave it, right? Number's still good.
I'm still making plenty of money.
There you
Yep,
go.
yep.
Right. You have another one?
If the purchase price, this may be more question for you. If the purchase price plus the rehab is more than 70% of the ARV, then the hard money is going to lend, should I pass on the deal?
Okay,
75.
somebody asked if, I'm gonna answer that one. If the
Sure.
purchase price plus the rehab is more than the 70%, should I pass on the deal? No. Here's the question. Typically, deals are 10 to 30,000 out of pocket. My question is, are you gonna cash flow 200 to 600? That's what I teach. And is it gonna be between that 10 and 30,000 out of pocket with a good rate of return? If you're making 10 to 30% return, it's a good deal, whether it's 30 out of pocket, 40 out of pocket, or 20 out of pocket. That's what I look for. That's my opinion. I just wanted to answer that one because it's more advanced.
Sure. Yeah. I have goals. If the numbers work, buy the house.
Like Shawn said, his goal was $400 cash flow. That's a great goal. I love that goal. It's perfect. It's just a simple way of looking at it. Because I say 200 to 600, he's right in the middle there. It's great. That good? Thank you so much, Shawn. Thank you. Well, one more. Hold on, they're coming in.
Sure.
How does Shawn collect rent?
Shawn, how do you collect rent?
Cozy.co. Cozy.co.
And I bring that up in the seminar. Cozy.co. You can actually screen residence. You can do a lot of stuff on there. You can advertise. I'll teach you that in the seminar.
How many houses do you need to own to hire ongoing management?
Okay, somebody asked the question, how many houses do you need to go ongoing management? You can have one house and do that. There are probably management companies that will do that. We have vendors on the vendors list that will do that. So you can have one to do that. You can have 10, you can have 100, it doesn't matter.
The reason I might have 10 or 12 houses and pay for that.
This is always a big fear of people. How long after rehab was completed did you have a tenant?
How long, after you fixed it up, how long did it take you to get a renter? Resident, yeah, not a tenant.
In my latest house, or the first house, I had a renter already, right?
Right.
He's been in there for 5 years. I've owned it for over a year. The latest house, they moved in 2 days after the general contractor cleaned it up.
See, there you go. It's, if you do best product, best price, which I teach the seminar, he fixed up everything. He wants no headaches. If it needs a roof, I put a roof. Now you think about it, he did $50,000 to rehab. Everything's new. What's gonna break down on him? He did it right. So every resident comes to his, everything's new, and the one down the street's garbage. Which one are they gonna rent? They're gonna rent Shawn's every single time. Even though he's from Washington, it's okay.
Last question. Oh, did you purchase a home warranty and flood insurance?
Did you have home warranty or flood insurance?
One thing I did figure out how to do was use the map in Houston, show me where the flood zones are. And every one of my houses is out of the flood zone. So I didn't get flood insurance. And no, I didn't buy homeowner insurance because they're trashed and I fixed everything. If anything goes wrong, I call the general contractor.
Yeah, see, remember, if you put everything you put in is brand new as a warranty, so you just don't have to worry about it. So, you know, it all depends. Now, if he didn't fix the AC and it's 40 years old, maybe he would have got a home warranty, just so you know. Sometimes they're okay, sometimes they're not. Everybody's different.
Right.
Awesome. Great stuff, guys. Thank you so much for giving back, both y'all. Appreciate it, man.
Great
Awesome.
job, Shawn. Thank you so much for everything you did, bro.
Yeah.